Hey guys, it's Joanna, and today's video is going to be a quick one on how I reapply sunscreen. Now, if you know me and have watched my videos, you know that sunscreen is foundational to my skincare routine. I think it is the one single most important step, and dermatologists will absolutely agree. Regardless of how old you are, what your skin condition is, currently you should be using sunscreen. You know, even if you never sunburn, if you are worried about skin prematurely aging, sunscreen is going to be your #1 way to prevent that, or at the very least, slow that from happening. Now, the amount of sunscreen I wear every day will vary depending on what I'm doing and how much time I'm spending in the direct sunlight. So for a typical day, however, I will really only just apply like a thick layer of liquid sunscreen, such as the LvL, one of my favorites, on in the morning, and then I won't be too bothered about reapplying it throughout the day because, you know, I'm probably just inside the house, or I'll be briefly outside when I'm walking to the car or walking to the train or something, and then I'll be briefly outside walking to the office or something like that. So very limited amount of time directly out in the sun. And also I have a full face of makeup on, and the last thing I want to do is slather on more liquid products on top of something like this. So one thing that I do love to use, and I have mentioned it in my previous videos, is the ColoreScience Sun Forgettable. Now, I have been purchasing this since 2013. And back then they actually had an awesome thing where you could actually just buy the refills of this powder, because you can actually twist this off and put more powder in here. Unfortunately, I recently discovered that they have discontinued the refill product, which is such a huge shame. If you guys want to get the ColoreScience now, unfortunately you have to pay the full price of $65 for this thing, which is really expensive, especially because there's only 6 grams of product in here. And you know, if you've watched my video on how much sunscreen to apply, I'll link that down below. You know that this amount of quantity in here is really not good if you're really just only relying on something like this. But if you are relying on something like this as a way to just kind of quickly touch up or reapply a little light layer of protection, this is actually a really great product. However, $65 is very expensive. And I recently found on Amazon that there is this product called the Mineral Fusion Brush On Sun Defense. Now this one is SPF 30. The Sun Forgettable comes in SPF 30 and SPF 50. So I have it in SPF 50, but you know, whatever. Now this Mineral Fusion Sun Defense is a little bit less in quantity. So this one has 4 grams in this packaging, even though the packaging is exactly the same. Like literally, I think they used the same manufacturer and pretty much copied the packaging. Now for 4 grams of product at $20 on Amazon, that's basically about $5 per gram. In contrast, the Sun Forgettable at $65 for 6 grams of product, that's about $10 a gram, or you know, $11 actually. So $10 to $11 a gram for the Sun Forgettable, and about $5 a gram for the Sun Defense. Now, is one better than the other? So I will say that on this one, the brush is definitely not as nice, and this is an old Sun Forgettable, so let me actually bring out a new one. And then I should say that recently ColoreScience did send me their another batch of Sun Forgettable, and I purchased that, have been purchasing it for a long time, but then recently they also sent me this just to be perfectly transparent. Now, as you can see on this brand new Sun Forgettable, this brush is just, I mean, huge difference, right? One is just looking kind of like, poorly shaped, and the other one is just looking very nicely shaped and round. I mean, but honestly, feeling the softness of the brush, there actually isn't that much of a difference. So it's really just an appearance and just how nice these products look. In terms of the powder itself, I know on Amazon a lot of people gave this low marks because it has retinol palmitate in it, and there's, I guess, an EWG article about how dangerous retinol palmitate is. Retinol palmitate is a derivative of vitamin A. So, like a derivative of retinoids, basically. And it's fine. There's no scientific evidence to suggest that it's dangerous for people to use. So, I mean, I don't know. Those EWG articles I read with a grain of salt and a very big skeptical eye. And honestly, no dermatologist, no science-based person is saying that this retinol palmitate is a danger. So, it's totally fine for the product, in my opinion, but up to you if you want to use that. Now, the other thing is this has way fewer ingredients, and the ColoreScience does say that it is water and, you know, essentially sweat resistant, whereas this is not. So, you know, from that perspective, if you do think you're going to be maybe a little bit more active, you know, reapplying with this probably is not as effective as reapplying with the ColoreScience. On using this, let me just quickly dab some on here. I mean, I love these sunscreen powders to reapply because, you know, they also do a nice job of just taking down the shininess a notch if you are particularly oily. And there you go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think this is a nice product. I think the brush, just brushing it on my face now, let me try this again. Yeah, this one, I guess, even though they feel very similar, this one brushing it on the face does feel a bit nicer. So there is that difference, but it's a, you know, double the price difference. So up to you which one you want to use. I absolutely love this Unforgettable, and again, it is a better product in terms of its capabilities, like such as being more water resistant. And then this one is a more bare bones product, but it is half the price. I honestly really wish that ColoreScience would come back with their refills, because then there's, without a doubt, ColoreScience is the better option. You can get the refills, they're very inexpensive, and you don't also have all this packaging waste. So please write to ColoreScience and tell them to bring back the refills. All right, so that's my main way of reapplying. Now recently I do have one more product here, and that is the Kate Somerville Uncomplicated Setting Spray, which is also SPF 50. Now this SPF is based with chemical sunscreen filters, and sorry, I didn't mention this, but with these powder ones, the filters in here are zinc and titanium dioxide. So just FYI on the difference here. Sprays like this could actually also be a good way to reapply sunscreen. And obviously you don't have to get the expensive Kate Somerville setting spray version. You can just get a spray version, just, you know, a regular sunscreen spray version. But I also do think that this product, because it is specifically designed also as a makeup setting spray, it is a little bit better for your made up face. Now again, this one was sent to me, and it's not the perfect product, I have to say. Let me just demonstrate it real quick. Very aerosol spray, very strong alcohol smell. In fact, sorry, putting it on just now, it's almost like you just took a shot of vodka. So I don't know if it's like the most pleasant product to use, but again, it has a nice finish on the skin and is good for those of you who are looking for a way to reapply sunscreen without disturbing your existing makeup. Okay, that's all I wanted to share today. Again, if you are going outdoors and doing a lot of, you know, physical activity outdoors, I strongly recommend you reapply sunscreen with regular sunscreen, you know, something like this, something like this, something like this, whatever sunscreen you want to use, reapply it thickly. Probably don't put on as much makeup as you normally would for a non, you know, heavily active day. But if you are doing something more light and not really outdoors that much, and you just want something to kind of quickly touch up your sunscreen, I think these powder options are great. Some sort of spray option is also good. I just would never ever rely on these as your only layer of sunscreen, because if you've watched my How Much Sunscreen You Need video, these are not going to give you enough coverage to deliver the full protection that you need. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.